Communication and building communication skills is a lot like building a house. You really need to do it incrementally. And I also think it's important that along the way, whether we're building a house or building communication skills, we are each, I include myself, we are each accountable for what ensues. Would you agree with that? Right? Sometimes we don't necessarily think about it, but we are accountable at every step of the way, and we're accountable for the finished product, whether it's the house or the final result of the communication. So I'd like you to keep that thought in your mind as we go through and continue on. Now, when we think about building a house, to me it all starts with a strong foundation. You don't have that, what kind of a house do you have? A house of cards, right? It all falls apart. There are five most common forms of workplace conflict. This is not meant to be an exhaustive list. You can probably come up with another 5. But today I want to touch on these in the interest of using our time judiciously. Because when we have workplace conflict, it helps to understand first, why is it even occurring? If we're in the dark about it and we're so busy arguing or being frustrated or enraged about things, then we don't take the time to step back and really look at what's happening. Let's examine these right now. And it's up to you. You may want to jot some notes down again for yourself in this area because it may be something that you want to spend more time on. All right. Now, the first one would be interdependence. How many people who are looking at me right now did not give somebody feedback this week because you were concerned about their reaction, or worse yet, you feared what they would think or say about you? Show of hands. I'll give you another shot at that. How many people avoided giving feedback this week because you were concerned about how another person would respond, what they would think about you or say about you? All right. Usually a lot of people feel that that's something they can relate to, and maybe it wasn't this week, maybe it was at some point in the month. But it's very common for that to happen. So it doesn't mean there's something wrong with us when we feel that way. It's natural. It's very, very natural. I've worked in more agencies than I can even count on one hand, and I think I've run across this in many instances, and I've had many leadership roles, so I know that people struggle with this. I think, again, it's part of the human condition. So assertive people aren't afraid to ask for what they want. What's critical here is the tone of voice that's used. And this would be a fun exercise, again, to try at a break or at a later junction, to go back and see if you can be firm and courteous. That would be an example of being assertive. When we're firm and rude, there's the aggression. That's the point I'm making. And so whatever your answer is, that's your business. But it will be ideal for you to practice how you would say sending a meal back. I've heard both. And one gets tremendous results. The other one, not so much. Yeah. If we are blessed to be born with normal hearing acuity, and of course that's a great gift, that's wonderful because guess what? We can hear. We hear everything. But it's a passive skill. You don't have to do anything to hear if you have normal hearing acuity. Now, listening, on the other hand, is anything but passive. It is an active skill because it requires 3 things: motivation, energy, and concentration. It's estimated that 247 billion emails are sent daily. Are we surprised? Probably not. But when you have a number to put around it, 247 billion emails sent daily. Now, if you think about it on an individual basis, think about it this way. If you were to send and receive, I'll go with a small number, 100 emails a day, that's equivalent to over 30,000 a year. So the point is, we have become a society that is reflexive about email, not to be confused with being reflective. We're reflexive. We don't think. Boom, somebody says something and we email. Somebody wants to know something and another email goes out. Send one, get one, send one, get one. It's amazing. Me and Uncle have to do that movement. Is a meeting the best way to handle this particular matter? Is there really a need for this meeting to occur? This is an interesting one. I've worked in organizations where there's sort of this institutional memory and thinking, well, we've always had the Monday morning meeting with the chief, and we've done it for the last 90 years, so we must have to do it for the next 90 years. I don't think so. Somebody has to have the you-know-what to say, wait a second, maybe there's a different way. Maybe we don't need a meeting. So definitely question need. Be the kid on the block that questions it. Insanity. Insanity is defined as doing the same things repeatedly, and yet expecting different results. So, clearly, it is time for a change. Let us remember, we pay a very steep price tag when our workplace communication is filled with non-productive conflict. Non-productive conflict. But by investing your time here this morning, and I thank you immensely for doing that, you now are well equipped with the tools to turn that price tag from a liability into an asset. What's the first step? Getting our own house in order. And based on what a fantastic audience you've been for the last 3 hours, I have no doubts you can do it. Give yourselves a round of applause, please.